Welcome to Books and Ideas Audio, a presentation of the Vancouver Writers' Fest. The Vancouver Writers' Fest connects people to exceptional books, ideas, and dialogue through year-round programming that ignites a passion for words and the world around us. I'm Joyce Wan, Marketing and Digital Production Coordinator, and for this episode of Books and Ideas, we're featuring a fascinating conversation with Douglas Coupland, a celebrated Canadian writer, visual artist, and designer. He spoke with CBC producer Lisa Christiansen about his short story collection Binge, so called because it's impossible to read just one of these 60 pieces of captivating microfiction. Maclean's called them blackly funny screenshots of our world. The Vancouver Writers' Fest carries out its work, including this event you're about to listen to, on the unceded and ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. This event was presented with the support of our community partner Opus Art Supplies and recorded in front of a live audience in Vancouver on October 23rd, 2021, as part of our annual festival. Tickets for our 2022 festival, taking place October 17th to 23rd, go on sale September 14th. You can find all the details on our website and in our program guide starting September 7th.
Thank you all so much for joining us. Welcome to Binge, Douglas Coupland in conversation with me. Thank you. We are grateful for the support of our community partner, Opus Art Supplies. We are so pleased that you have all come here this evening. It is a sold-out event, but we know we have these little spaces in between here. But come Monday, if you wanted to come back again, we won't be here. But if you did, you could, timing. Right? You could fill all these seats, yes. The Vancouver Writers' Fest carries out its work and this event today on the ancestral and unceded lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, and we are grateful. Before we begin, I do have some notes to deliver, so please silence your phones, though we encourage you to tweet all about the events once it's over, but don't look for me. I have left Twitter. We can discuss that if you, Yes, well, we can talk about that if we want to. We've got a lot of time. Later this evening, you'll receive a feedback survey by email. Please take a moment to complete it and share your thoughts. We rely on your feedback to make our events even better, and we read all the comments. And following the event, there will be a book sale and signing here on stage. So if you didn't get a copy of the book when you came in, you'll be able to get it over here on the stage and then have it signed. I want to say thank you to all the volunteers and supporters, especially our title sponsors, CMHC Granville Island, the Government of BC, City of Vancouver, Canadian Heritage, BC Arts Council, and Canada Council for the Arts. This year, the Festival Bookstore is in a new storefront location in the lobby of the Waterfront Theatre on Cartwright Street. Well, that's where we are. Visit the store day and night to buy books from all the featured authors. And now, allow me to introduce our guest. And Douglas, I'm going to read your entire bio because if it was mine, I would want it read all the time. So since 1991, Douglas Coupland has written 13 novels published in most languages. He has written and performed for England's Royal Shakespeare Company and is a columnist for the Financial Times of London. He is a frequent contributor to the New York Times, eFlux, DIS, and Vice. In 2000, Coupland amplified his visual art production and has recently had two separate museum retrospectives. Everything is Anything is Anywhere is Everywhere at the Vancouver Art Gallery, the Royal Ontario Museum, and the Museum of Contemporary Canadian Art and Bit Rot at Rotterdam's, excuse my Dutch here, Wit de Wit Center for Contemporary Art and Munich's Villa Stuck, there we go, Villa Stuck. In 2015 and 2016, Douglas was artist in residence in the Paris Google Cultural Institute. In May 2018, his exhibition on ecology, Vortex, opened at the Vancouver Aquarium. He is a member of the Royal Canadian Academy, an officer of the Order of Canada, Officer of the Order of British Columbia, a Chevalier de l'Ordre des Arts de la... Boy, my French. And you're also a receiver of the Lieutenant Governor's Award for Literary Excellence. And that is a heck of a bio, I gotta say. Now, as you know, we're here to talk about Binge, 60 short stories to make your brain feel different. And we're going to talk about the book, and we're going to hear some readings from some of Douglas's famous friends from the audiobook. And we're going to try something new tonight, one we hope you're all going to be excited about. We hope that one of you would like to volunteer to read one of the stories. Now, come on, it's not the Hunger Games, you know. We're not looking for a tribute, just someone who wants to put their skills up to the fierce judgment of a crowd. It's not a big deal. So we're going to do it just before the question and answer. Douglas is going to choose one of the stories from the book. We will have you come up here. Now, is there anyone out here who wants to throw their hand up who would like to vote? Oh, we've got some. Oh, we've got two. Okay, do you want to?
They've been living for this moment their entire life.
This is it.
And now it's happened. Okay.
Throw your hands up. There we go.
I can only see lights, so.
You can only see lights. Let me see. I think I saw that hand go up first, right there. Yes. Can you stand for a second and just tell us your name?
Oh, there's no escaping now, Johnny. Okay.
All right. So we will be calling upon you. Thank you. Everyone else is extremely relieved that you decided to do this. So I think one of the first things we should discuss, I mean, since we are dealing with this half crowd and with masks and things, let's talk about COVID. How did it go for you?
Oh, I think, years down the road, I'm probably going to remember, and I think everyone here might agree, just the way that time itself became this sort of concertina that went woo, and it went faster and then slower for everyone. And then recently it seems like time's just sped up at like 10 times normal speed. I think it's the perception of time that is my biggest experience. I used to travel way too much, and now every other day I ask Siri, how many days has it been since March 12th, 2021, which is when I got back from Copenhagen. And I think we're up to 573 days right now. With a few exceptions, that's been 573 incredibly identical sleep cycles. And it's so addictive and seductive. And I think I'm not going to travel very much anymore. How about you? What's your?
Well, my experience of being, I worked from home, which I only just went back to work in the office a month ago. Huh. I have been at home the whole time. So I will say that my dogs enjoyed it an awful lot.
Okay.
But yeah, I found it to be, I don't know. I don't even know if I've really got words for it just yet.
A lot of people, and we know this, have like, whatever they were doing before, they're no longer doing it. They've quit. They've gone off. They're going to BCIT. They're going back to school. They're doing whatever. Was there any kind of reflection, a self-reflection like that led to a change?
I wish I had done something really great with my time, but I think I'm on to season 3 of You, which is a really trashy show, and sorry, don't judge me. The first 2 seasons really helped me, even if it is about a murderous psychopath, and somehow I find that entertaining. I was thinking about that today. I was thinking I was going to talk to you about pop culture and habits, and I was thinking, is it weird that I'm taking a bath listening to a murder podcast?
It sounds quite enjoyable, actually. Yeah.
It is. All right, well, let's get to the book then. So let's start with the inspiration behind Binge.
Courtney Cox.
Who you will notice on the cover here.
Since the early 90s, I've been writing about technology in some form or another, directly, or characters who inhabit a technological world like Silicon Valley or, say, Microsoft. And along the way, I learned that I noticed it myself, but it's happened with everyone. I was working at Wired in San Francisco in the early 1990s, when the internet was like brand new and there was nowhere to go, there was nothing to see. And then the internet sort of grew, and now, of course, I'm surprised it took as long as it did to turn toxic finally in 2016. But these technologies change our neural wiring, like physically, organically, biologically, and that in turn changes the way that we look at the world. And then I couldn't help but noticing it, especially this book began just before COVID, but boy, the plunge we all took into binging collectively. And, and frankly, aren't we lucky that we had all this stuff created by artists and writers and cinematographers that we could just jump into? So next time someone tries to like crap on defunding the arts, just say, okay, when COVID struck, what did you do? That's right.
But I have noticed that the arts did not get the same attention as, say, sports during COVID.
In performing arts, say?
Well, just that, all of the theaters and all of the things that shut down and all of the things that we didn't have. And I mean, I'm happy to watch shows now, but you can tell that they were made during COVID.
Oh, I have lots of friends. I have one here tonight who is a choral singer. And as it turned out with COVID, choral singing is probably the single most dangerous activity that human beings as a group can participate in. So a lot of laws changed. But in terms of binging, I think something has changed in our brains that has to do with our expectation of a setup, or like setup, delivery. I think that we ingest information in a different way, and we like information that feels bingey. Now, let me go back a bit. Marshall McLuhan, I think pretty much everyone here knows who he is or what he was about. He prognosticated in the early 60s that when one art form eclipses another, that it allows the previous art form to become, or the previous medium to become an art form. So when the internet took over from TV, suddenly TV was able to become an art form. I think Sopranos is one of the first expressions of that. But now we're in the absolute golden age of long form television, which a lot of it is genuine art. And with this comes sort of that, it's a rainy day, you're reading a book, oh, just one more chapter, one more this, or one more that. And what drives that one more instinct? And I think with these stories here, some of them are really profane, some of them are depressing, some of them are sad, some of them are just like a laugh riot. But it's kind of like, is it just that right mixture of information about a job description? Is it a bit of folk wisdom? Do you throw in a life pro tip, or what do you do? And I think I began looking at Reddit and all those online forums, and I love them because people who otherwise couldn't write a paragraph go on, they write these amazing pages and pages of fascinating and really revealing and compelling, sometimes even literature. So, is the internet making us stupider? Is it making us smarter? I think it's turning us into children is what it's doing. I think we're the same smartness, intelligence as always, but boy, we've been juvenilized. What would the word be?
Infantilized?
Infantilized. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The internet also it tricks us into thinking we're way more important than we actually really are. And you look at something like democracy, and then the current crisis in democracy, where you have these people everywhere on the planet, and they're like, okay, like, this is my opinion, and like, I'm me, so like, I rule. And like, wait, 51% of it, people want to do it, and I can't have my way. Screw it. It's my way, their highway, and I'm going to take down the whole system with me. And I think there's that sort of attitude that, prevails now. And I does democracy come with a sort of a built-in cyanide tooth that it, decides to bite after 150 years or so? Now we're just sort of seeing it play out. That was a long answer to a really short question. Let me get your glass.
Thank you. Well, when with the subtitle here, 60 short stories to make your brain feel different. I think everyone's brain's feeling a bit different already right now. So maybe we should get to a story so that we can all, if your brain doesn't feel quite different yet, we're about to do that to you. So we're going to have a reading from Michael Stipe of REM.
Yeah, let me set this up just so it doesn't scare the crap out of everyone. So what happened was when the book came out, there's 60 stories. And I've never paid that much attention to the audio version of a book before. But okay, they all have to be 60 different voices. And like, well, Doug, the average trained voice person can only do 5 or 6 different voices. And then we looked at the numbers, and that was like outrageously expensive. So it was COVID, and a lot of these friends of mine who have well-known voices weren't doing too much. And so I asked if they would do it. And I was really honored that they did do it. But also, these are people who've been in the global media arena for 3 or 4 decades. And they're like, wait, do I create a voice for that person? Or like, wait, what if I sound fake or whatever? And it was like really touching to see that. This voice, there's a writer, artist named, oh my God, it's so embarrassing when you blank out on stage. It's like, this is how it begins. William Burroughs. He's dead now. And he was an American writer. His famous book was called Junkie, and he talked like he had acid reflux voice.
I saw him read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tried to think of who do I know who has that voice that just sounds like it's been bathed in, whiskey and bad luck for like decades and decades and decades. And so it was Michael came to the rescue. This is, someone who basically if you're downtown and you need emergency surgery, but you can't go for a hospital because the cops are after you, this is the guy you come to. Okay.
I'm a heart surgeon, a real genuine specialist, but I look like a clapped out beef jerky skinned slice of crap. If you ran into me on the street, you'd look the other way. You'd never guess I was once Mr. Has his shit together DILF. I mean, these days, if someone on a plane yelled for a doctor and I turned up, the air marshal on that flight would put me in cuffs. You know what I'd say to that air marshal? At least I don't have to spend my entire fucking life flying on Southwest Airlines to make a living, you dumb fuck loser. Christ, imagine sitting in gerbil-sized seats for 8 hours a day, inhaling dead farts, trying to figure out if someone is an ISIS or just going insane from flying with a crap airline that is circling the drain in a competition to be the shittiest airline. Not that I have the money for a flight. How did I end up this way? If I had to oversimplify, I'd trace it back to a bypass surgery I did maybe 15 years ago. A pretty standard operation, but somehow the guy woke up in the middle of it. Imagine waking up on the operating table and seeing our faces and realizing what's going on. And then the patient got put back under, but I could no longer view him as a generic patient undergoing a reasonably standard procedure. Something in him seemed awake, alert. If you eat meat, I don't anymore, and you talk to a butcher, you'll know that some cattle seem to know when they are about to be slaughtered, and they send out this chemical signal, and their meat flares bright red. So that was this guy. He was asleep, but he wasn't. And then something else went wrong. I don't even know what it was. And now the guy wasn't alert. He was gone. This was no longer a human being under my knife, nor was he it even like a Sunday roast beef dinner. He was a chunk of non-life. A meteorite from 5 billion years ago crashing into the Arizona desert had a higher chance of containing life than this guy. After that patient died on the table, I had to take a break from surgery. The thought of inserting a scalpel into skin suddenly made me cringe. Me, who once enjoyed nothing more than a good high school car crash to make a Friday night in Emerge more fun. This thing called life, this thing called aliveness, what is it? At what point does being alive start and stop? You cut down a redwood and turn it into paper towels, but what about the stump? Does a little baby redwood sprout and turn into a happy new megatree? When does the tree stop living? Is it when it can no longer generate a sprout? Or in a few more decades when there's Not enough DNA for scientists to rebuild extinct redwoods from scratch in a lab. Why does life end? Once it's gone, can it return? All of us could easily kill lots of people at any time, but we mostly don't. We can take, but we can't give, except by having kids. Sex, death, fucking. Eventually, I became a backroom abortionist, like a throwback from long before Roe v. Wade. I was the doctor you went to because you wouldn't or couldn't go anywhere else. It was cash only. And if you needed pain medication, I'd maybe give you something with the price marked up. But let's say I was a real doctor in a real office. How is a real doctor in a real medical practice all that different from me in my rented apartment at the back of a cucaracha's nest of a live-work dump? I offer a service at a reasonable price, and I don't think anyone ever got sepsis from me. But stitching up wounds is still an issue for me. You don't want me stitching you up. The nurses I hire make fun of it behind my back. They call me Helen Keller. But when you're at a point in your life that you're coming to Dr. Jones, who else are you going to go to? Speaking of stitching, the other night this kid comes in, a junkie or maybe one of those lost souls on SSRIs. His leg was a mess from a gouge wound. The inside of it looked like red jello. Plus, it had been 6 hours since he'd been gashed and he hadn't gotten any treatment. There was probably pigeon shit in it by then. Or those chunks of lungs those old guys cough onto sidewalks. Stitching him back together was like trying to sew a flank steak together with some stewing beef. I Frankensteined the whole thing. I admit I was not proud of my work, but I was coming off a bender. And who else was this guy going to go to? I saw his face in the newspaper the next day. One of those freebie papers they leave in coffee shops. Isaac Richter, local boy, attacked and most likely tried to kill an old high school coach who I'm guessing was Uncle Molesty, getting his comeuppance. Ha, we're all scum. Life. We live our days. We have our memories. We have opinions. We have feelings. And they all go into a cosmic blender and become karma smoothies that get left on the counter and are forgotten. Eventually, they start to get all bubbly and rotten, and then you knock yours over and it spills and stains things. But you're too lazy to wipe it up, so it turns hard. And if you neglect it long enough, it just sort of ossifies over time. And that's your legacy. You had the gift of sentience, and what did it get you?
That was cheerful.
Ooh.
You said you saw William Burroughs once.
I did.
He was back in art school, which is 83-ish. Maybe it was the same event. It was out at the Western Front. And no, he did it. No, sorry, he did.
I thought the Ridge.
The Ridge Theater.
Yes,
the table.
yeah.
So we were at the Western Front, and I mean, he was gay. I didn't know that, and I was like pre-sexual. I was just kind of like, and so it's myself and Derek Root and Angela Grossman, the three of us. Like, can we get a picture with you, Mr. Burroughs? And so we're standing there, Angela, Derek, myself, William Burroughs, at 3, 2, 1. At the count of 3, he goes, puts his hand right on my ass. And I'm like, Mr. Burroughs. And it's actually it's on the photo. And it's a warm, fuzzy memory to pull us out of the existential dankness of what we just heard. So
I remember having read his books. And then when he came out on the stage, I said to my friend, who's that old guy? And I'd forgotten that he'd written those books a long time ago. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Up with people. That story. Where did that one come from?
That one comes from some of the stories sort of connect and segue into each other just a little bit, so that even if you don't read the precursor stories, you'll still be able to get most of it. And it's sort of this chain of, it's the final one of 5 stories, where it begins with these smart-ass kids, oh God, it's too hard to explain. It's just basically like a domino effect of 5 fails in a row, ending up with him. And I think they're all 1,000 words, and not 900, not 1,100, that they're all about 1,000 words. And that was also part of the challenge too. And so how can you like yank a person out of that as quickly as possible as a writer? It's a wonderful challenge. And I'm still trying to get Penguin Random House to put a sticker on the front that says "Perfect Airplane Book,"
Yeah.
which it is.
It is. Definitely.
And Christmas gift as well.
You can binge, definitely. One more story all the time. So let's get to this cover. Now, I have to say that this is a peak Gen X moment in pop culture. I mean, does everyone know this moment of Courtney Cox being seemingly randomly? This is not to suggest that we have a plant out here for the reading at all. This is completely random, but seemingly random, brought up on the stage by Bruce Springsteen to dance in the dark to the song. Now, one of the things I love about this cover is that Bruce Springsteen's not here.
Well, we had to write Miss Courtney Cox of Bel Air, California, to get permission to use the photo. And we couldn't get Bruce.
Oh, he wouldn't?
We couldn't find him. You try connecting with Bruce Springsteen sometime. But the thing about that video is just the most cringe moment in the history of late 80s music, because they're doing that weird 80s dancing, which I'm not even going to try.
Is this the Carlton? Did you watch The Fresh Prince?
And then Bruce Springsteen is 80s dancing, and you're just, no, this shouldn't be happening. But things like, everyone saw this back in the day, but it was before the internet, so everyone didn't comment about it. So now I've noticed recently, and whenever that moment comes up, sometimes it's online or on a TV, like everyone's like, oh, that's Courtney Cox. And like, oh, do you remember that? And everyone does. So it's kind of like this collective memory that's built into us that we never tap into. But the moment you see it, it's just got everything that defines 2021. It's got sort of repetition. It's entertaining. It's got cringe built into it. It's a collective memory in a time when there's very, decreasing amount of collective memory. It's this image that oddly brings people together. And that's why I like it. That's, I think, why we chose it.
So it does show up in the story Dad Dancing. And I'm wondering now, and I'd never thought this before, but was this the beginning of Dad Dancing?
No, you know what was the beginning? Dad Dancing is this theme that also goes through the book. And does everyone here know what Dad Dancing is? Okay, so there was this video that was taken at some nightclub in London, and Prince William was there with his friends, and they were playing, I think it was All I Wanna, Sheryl Crow or something was playing in the background. And Prince William, our future monarch, had maybe like 3.5 shandies, and he was in the back kind of like doing that. And then that's what actually made me think about this. And then Dad Dancing is technically like when you're a teenager and your friends are in the room and you're playing music, and then your dad walks in and says, hey, this new stuff's really great, and starts dancing with it. And it's just like the worst possible thing that could ever happen in front of your friends.
Or you have to go to a wedding and then your dad says, I gotta get up here.
Like, oh, yeah. You can never unsee.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those kinds of moments though, do you, in the story, spoilers, sorry, because I've read the book, in Dad Dancing, there is a man that is captured doing this dancing, and it seems like it's an organic moment for him, but then it takes off, and then it becomes a less than organic thing.
Well, it's a really good idea, frankly, and if I had my act together more, I might actually act upon it, where it's this guy, and he's waiting for his daughter to pick her up at a Starbucks, and there's some twerp in like a a douche car, and he's captive. I'm me. I can dad dance. So he starts dad dancing in front of this guy, and everyone's just cracking up. And this talent agent comes by, Shelley, and she sees it. Oh my God, she's looking at everyone loves this. How can we do? So she goes. She finds another dancer, but she needs 3 more. So she goes to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, the smoke break, and says, like, who here's got alimony? Here's like $1,000 up front. Just sign this. Can you dance? Great. And so she goes from finding this guy dad dancing outside of Starbucks to the Jimmy Kimmel show in about 6.5 weeks. And it's called like Dad Dance 3000. And it's a really great idea for a show because they would have to be professional dancers, but they would also have to be professional bad dancers.
Yeah.
And sort of almost like they have that knob, like cringe, great. Cringe, great. And my only problem is I don't know how to write music. So, but you would go to that, wouldn't you?
I would go to that. Yeah. I love, I mean, I'm a big fan of when one of these, or I like to think, I think that they're organic and then that people like them. And the one that I was going to ask you about, and I wondered if a lot of people remember this one because TikTok has become, a place for these kinds of dad dancing sort of moments. But the man on the skateboard listening to Dreams, drinking cranberry juice. I remember being so impressed with that for some reason, and I don't even know why. I mean, as a person who, you were earlier on saying all the great art that's being created, and I'm like, I'll tell you what art is this guy. And I'm like, I'm practically in tears because it's so beautiful.
I've not seen this. What is it?
You've not seen that one?
No.
Oh, well.
I live on this planet, but I have not seen it.
Hopefully someone who has a phone will bring this up during the book signing. And it took off, and he became this huge sensation. And then everyone started doing their own versions, including Jagmeet Singh when he was running for...
Oh, that's what that was.
Yes.
Okay.
You saw Jagmeet, but you never saw the original.
Yeah. Okay, now I get it. Okay.
So it really took off. And so I wondered, what are your feelings on these sorts of pop culture moments? And do you feel like, I feel like if there's some authenticity to it, I'm really intrigued. But if I feel like someone's faked me, then I'm not as interested.
You know what that reminds me of is, believe it or not, disco and the 1970s. And in the 1970s, we were very information poor, and we only had a few memes over the course of a decade. We had pet rocks, we had streaking, and we had disco. And disco is this meme that started and would never end. And it was, fueled by corruption and payola. And when it ended, do you remember them, like almost overnight in April 1979?
Is this the record-breaking event at the...
It was just, it was the year I graduated. And from one month to the next, everyone started wearing straight leg jeans. Everyone got shorter haircut. Everything just, the 70s just vanished overnight. And so you come to now, and we have Dreams, drinking cocktail, cranberry cocktail.
Yeah. For some reason, that really factored into this moment. I don't.
No. But then there's all these things. I watch on Instagram almost entirely dog rescue videos from the Dodo and stuff like that.
I watch those too. Yeah.
There are these astonishing nuggets of authenticity just bombarding us, coming back to the word authentic, and that it's wonderful to be living in sort of that age. And then there's also the counter meme. It's called the scripted Asian GIF, which is, it's GIF or GIF? GIF.
I've heard GIF, but...
Hang on. Who says GIF? Okay. Who says GIF? No, GIFs have it. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a GIF that seems like, that was really funny. Wait, what's going on? No. And you reverse engineer it. And of course, they scripted the whole thing. So that's like authentic counter authenticity.
Yeah. Why do you think these moments take off? Like, what is it that, so many of your stories have, references to these kinds of moments. And what happens?
Well, what happens in these moments, Lisa, I think just we remember that we're kind of alive in a very sort of corporeal sense, almost like your eyes water, your heartbeat changes, you feel different, and it's a wonderful thing. But what I've noticed is that that sort of thing, 1,000 years ago, that happened to you maybe once a week, or maybe every 2 weeks. And now that happens to us maybe 4 or 5 times an hour. And I think it's maybe crashing our central nervous systems, and that our brains are like, blink, 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 blink. What's going on here? Like all these endorphin rushes and all these dopamine hits. And then what that is in turn doing goes back to what we said at the beginning about time, and that it's distorting our sense of time. It's making, look at COVID, not even 2 years. And it all started with cruise liners in Japan, and that seems like 20 years ago now. And yet I look at something that happened 3 years ago and it feels like yesterday, and this complete sense of the de-organicization. Is that the
Did you just make that up? Or?
You could technically, dear Scrabble.
Okay.
Did that, well, our sense of organic memory is being replaced by a data-based model of memory. And so infinity is no longer time. Infinity is now like the cloud, or sort of a database. And that is going to regulate how old you feel. That's going to change radically down the road. I mean, I still remember classic time. And I think some people here do as well. But there are a lot of younger people, millennials and Gen Z, who really don't have a classical sense of time built into their brain or into their reptile stem or whatever part it is that regulates time perception. And I think is going to become more of a bigger divide, I think, between the generations. And I can't believe I just used the word generation, but I think it's real. I mean, calling a generation is a gross oversimplification. But as Marshall McLuhan said, the oversimplification of anything is always exciting. Having said that, there really are different generations these days. Just run with it. Yeah. By the way, hashtag liquidity by collage.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I'm enjoying it.
Have you tried it yet?
Yeah, I've been definitely
it's
working
like slightly
my way
buttery,
through it.
No wokiness.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely lovely. But don't you feel that maybe the really interesting definer of generations is that there is a generation now that doesn't have that same sense of time because of YouTube, that you mention, say, if you said to someone, Eric Clapton, they could just go on the internet and it's all there. Every concert that he's ever played, everything he's ever done. So what does that say about time and pop culture?
Well, I will say that I usually go to Wikipedia 3 or 4 times a day, sometimes a bit more. And anything I look up in Wikipedia, it stays in my brain. So, I mean, curiosity is always the best way to remember anything. So that when I watch something on laptop TV, thank God we have pause, because I'm always looking up something. Or in the book, there's this comic strip, Kathy, that existed back in the 70s and 80s. And it was this woman who, she self-fat shamed her way through 2 decades. And it was like the complete bottoming out point of like feminism. And it always ended up in the third frame, in this existential implosion. And then I was reading last week in the New York Times that Kathy has become this new topic for people in their 20s to research as sort of the failures of feminism. And it's actually become a university topic now. And holy moly. So, the things we consider disposable, the more you think something's disposable, chances are the greater the chance it's permanent in some way.
No, one of the concepts that I'd never heard about until reading this book was sonder.
Ooh. Sondering's really scary.
Has anyone ever heard of the word sonder?
Okay, it comes from, it's Nordic word. It's like wonder, but with an S. So sondering. And we've all done it. We're in a situation, perhaps this room, and I look at you and I look at you and you and I realize, oh my God, everyone in this room has an interior world that's just as noisy and complex and fucked up as my own. And oh my God, how does the world even function? And then it becomes so overwhelming that it's like, you turn it off and go back to your own head. Because if you realize that people are really noisy on the inside, I guess that's it. And that, I wake up, I go to sleep. What happened today? Did I do anything? The world managed to continue spinning forward. Wow. All that in spite of the fact that we're all so confused and whatever in our heads. And when you read about the idea of sondering, did it twig with you?
Oh, it did. It did. And I tend to sonder probably a different way. I just assume everyone else has got everything together and I'm the only one that's that's falling apart. And I look at other people, like I remember looking at a group of people who were jogging at night and I went, look at those people. Look at them. They got it all together. They're perfect. They met for jogging. I wouldn't think of jogging at night. There's no possible way. And to me, they became this example of what I was shooting for was to belong to a jogging group. I have never.
And they're probably like listening to Sylvia Plath in their earbuds or something.
That would reassure me. I mean, sometimes I think I just want to tap someone on the shoulder and go, please tell me you're as confused as I am. And they will go, oh, thank God, you too. That would be great.
I think that's kind of like the Breakfast Club almost, where you have all these crazy mixed up kids and they're all in the detention hall on Saturday morning and like, wait, we're all screwed up together. And it's a really bonding thing. And it'd be kind of wonderful. What did Woody Allen say? Wouldn't it be great if being like anxious and neurotic was actually a turn on? But I know we continue to project this other thing instead. And I do think it's what brings us together is actually those weird little awkward moments. Like, oh, thank God I'm not alone in this. That's writing in general, I think.
Is that a lot, do you think, of our affection for pop culture? Is that being able to, we started the conversation off talking about COVID and how a lot of us haven't been at workplaces, but there was something really great about coming into work going, oh, did you see the latest Sopranos? Or did you do that?
Well, that's the way people used to discuss books back in the 50s. Like, have you read that new Salinger? Quite challenging, I thought. What chapter are you on? And, and then it's Squid Games. Yeah. Wow. That was a real game changer at the end of the episode with red light, green light. Like, ooh, wait till you get to episode 5. And that's actually the way we used to discuss books. So I think plus ça change. It's like, c'est la même chose.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I spoke French effortlessly, as effortlessly as though like I spend my days speaking.
But I did know what you meant, so I feel like, hey, yay, one for high school French. So there we go.
Did you go to high school in BC?
Yes.
Okay, so what we do in British Columbia still, I believe, is that they wait until grade 8, which is the exact moment when your body is filled up with hormones, which wash through your brain, and it's kind of like freezes your brain in a way. Up until that point, you have an eidetic memory where you can just pick up languages like that and it's super easy and it sticks. And they, of course, wait until the exact neurological moment where that's no longer possible. And then they teach you French. And then, like, you les Serge Duclos.
Well, I mean, thank goodness for my, grade 8 French, because now I know how to say, vous connaissez ma femme?
Elle est très sympathique.
Oh.
Son frère est dans les marins. Où est le métro?
Où est le métro? Well, où est le métro was more useful than do you know my wife? But I haven't had a chance to use that yet. But thank you, grade 8 French. So that's great. I think we're going to do another reading now, and maybe you want to set this up. We're going to hear 18 Plus by Anna Faris.
Okay, so it's called 18 Plus because, there's this book called The Decameron that was written in the 14th century, and is a Boccaccio. There was a plague in Milan, so all these young people went out to a nunnery out in the Italian countryside to wait out the plague, and they amused each other by writing short stories. And some of them, were quite bawdy, and some of them were quite raucous, and it is really all over the map. And so this one really taps into the way we discuss our personal selves when perhaps in an online forum where it will never quite attach to your online history. It's read by my friend Anna Ferris, who has this very wonderful, I don't know if you know her voice or not.
Oh, yes.
She's a comedian.
Yes.
And she just goes to town with it. And it's about, okay, this one comes from, I was talking to my doctor and he said, blah, blah, blah. And you would be amazed at the number of visits to the emergency department that come from accidents as a result of self-grooming.
Ooh. All right, everyone. Be ready.
18 plus. So last Tuesday night, I got really hammered and decided my pubes needed shaving. What happened next is not pretty. If you're under 18, you have to stop listening here. Now, for all you 18 plus people out there, here's how it went down. Me, female 26. Were you to see me on the street, you'd think, that young woman looks like she has her shit together. She probably has a bowl of lemons on her kitchen counter beside glass jars of interestingly shaped pasta that are stopped with jumbo corks and fancy bottles of European bubbly water in her fridge. But you would be wrong. I don't have my shit together. The thing about me is that I'm hairy. Some girls are just born that way. Remember seeing the music video for that 1980s one-off hit, 99 Luftballons, where the singer raises her arms and her pits look like the fringes of a clown's wig? It was such a revelation for me. I don't think I'd actually ever seen a woman with hairy armpits before. I didn't even know it was an option. So, with my light complexion and dark hair, if I shave down there, I look like a chocolate chip cookie. It's not sexy, it's just ick. But after you've drunk a bottle of something Californian in the $15 to $20 price range, your brain's executive functions are diminished, and you can fall prey to the urgent thought, why have I never done a proper shaving before, like the magnificent shaving I'm about to do? My pubes need to be heart-shaped. That will make all the difference. I'm not even quite sure why it felt so urgent, but it probably had something to do with this new guy I'm sort of seeing, Jeff. He wants us to go to Burning Man, he says, but he hasn't quite committed, and maybe me having heart-shaped pubes would make him decide to go there and take me with him. Man, what a shitty excuse, but did I mention alcohol? And I'm not even sure what Burning Man is, except that it's a place where rich people get naked, do shrooms, blow shit up, and listen to 1970s music with Google executives and don't get arrested. Anyway, I got down to business, but given the way my bathroom is laid out, and given that I only have 2 small mirrors, both oval-shaped, intimate shaving was not that easy. I was using an electric detail razor I stole from an old boyfriend, which he used for contouring his facial hair. I was feeling so artistic. When I opened a bottle of something else from Sonoma, the evening began to truly rock. I was buzzing in there like I was turning 1,000 acres of Brazilian rainforest into 1,000,000 hamburgers, and fuck all ecosystems. My pussy must be radiant. I moved on to my perianal district. BTW, did I mention I was drunk? My small oval mirrors were useless, so I gave myself a butt shave by touch alone, and I was fearless. And then my wine glass tipped over and broke, at which point I realized that I should stop. And I did. The next morning, I woke up in a cold, electric fright, the kind we all experience when we remember we drunk dialed an ex or told our families what we really think of them or shaved our pubes. Shit. I ran into the bathroom and, in the cruel light of 10:30 a.m., lifted up my t-shirt and braced for the worst. And, okay, it wasn't that bad. A bit lopsided, and the insides of my thighs looked like Milano cookies, and I couldn't bring myself to look at my butt. Still, I would have to spend the afternoon at the waxer getting all of this painfully fixed. Lesson learned. And this was when my mother, with whom I'm close, phoned to say she just had a Japanese super toilet installed, and would I like to come try it? She only lives a few blocks away, so how could I say no? Have you ever tried one of those things? They're shocking. They're bumulous. They get inside you and they own you. I closed my mom's bathroom door and enjoyed a few minutes of heaven before my sister texted to say she was PMSing and had gone shoplifting to take her mind off it and got busted stealing Reese's Pieces at Kroger. So I had to quickly say farewell to the amazing toilet. In my rush, I wasn't as hygienic as I might have been normally. So you're wondering, gee, how did this all blow up? Well, it turns out the Japanese toilet basically bit me in the ass by mixing a little bit of my poop into its jet stream and shooting it into all those raw pores. By day 3, my nether regions were looking like a Hawaiian pizza. And then Jeff decided Burning Man is a go. So am I not totally stoked? No, I am not stoked. My head is buzzing from amoxicillin and I'm watching TV lying on my stomach. So, no, I am not stoked.
I looked at Alice Munro as an inspiration for that one.
I can tell, yes. Exactly, yeah.
Well, it's got just that, it's like, you have to hear what comes next. You know?
Yes, you do. It made me think of an ad I saw today. I think it was an American ad, and for a very specific, it just said, get vaxxed and waxed, which I hadn't thought of before.
Ooh, that's assonance. Is that alliteration or assonance?
I don't know.
Okay, assonance, waxed.
I was
Alliteration.
excited that you could double up, you know, if you put that off, you could, if you'd put a couple of things off, you could head off.
And you could have a tailgate party thrown in or something.
Yeah, why not?
It's the States. Why not? Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So some of your characters recur in these 6 short stories. How did you decide to take them and decide to bring them into other stories?
This is sort of a tangential to the question of where do characters come from in general, almost. And quite often, and I've talked to other writers, like we do long form fiction, and that's a little bit more serious. They do somehow just erupt out of you, and I've had it happen many, many times, and. I don't know what it's like to have a kid, but I guess do they pop out and then boom, you look in their eyes and like, okay, they're kind of all there. Maybe it's just like that. With this one, there was this one character, this smart gal in high school who sort of becomes radicalized across the span of the novel. And then there's Eric, the drag queen, who appears tangential to other people's stories, but he appears at the end of the book. And I realize that these are some characters that have some legs, and that the next novel is going to actually involve these characters. And so this is their birth process. And so I'm quite stoked about that, actually.
So you can tell when some characters resonate more with you than others.
Oh, God, yeah. Just boom. And you have some characters, they're real, but I don't even like them, but they're still real. So they're like family members or something. But it's all part of the cosmology, and it does erupt. I don't know if it's possible to sit down like, okay, I need a character who's like female, 22, sassy, bit of attitude. I don't think you can engineer characters like that. I think they just have to appear somewhere out of like, blah, the reptile part of your brain that we're never, ever going to understand.
Are people nervous around you thinking that they might end up a character in one of your books?
Oh, God, yeah. My daddy died about 5 years ago. He's a doctor, a GP. And I asked him, Dad, did you ever accidentally kill a patient? Like, oh, God, yeah, all the time. He's like, ask any doctor. So your question.
Now I'm really thinking about my doctor. Sorry. No, just now I have to remember my own question. No, people that when they tell you stories or they have personality traits, do they make it in there?
Do they think they're going to end up like, oh, God, yeah, they certainly are. It's that same sort of instant, like, oh, God, yeah, totally. Like, I am pretty much strip mining life all the time, but it takes about 6, 7, 8 people to make one character, because you have to. Someone else said that somewhere. It was at Flaubert's Parrot, Julian Barnes.
I've read that.
Yeah. He said that once, and it's like really true. It takes a lot of carbon to make one diamond, I guess. Yeah, same analogy. And I back in the 90s, I used to have one of those little notepads with me, the paper ones, the spiral. And if I heard anything that sort of struck my fancy, a word that has resonance, I would write it down. And after about 5 or 6 years, my friends did an intervention and said, you have to stop doing that. You just can't do that anymore. And then I found myself just running off to the bathroom all the time to write things down. And then after a while, though, I found it became easier just to make up details than to note them from real life. So I guess that's just one of those 10,000 hour things where after a while, it's just, I'll just make it up.
What about dialogue too? I would imagine that you just pick that up.
I love dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love dialogue. And there's an American writer who is fallen into obscurity. His name was John O'Hara, and he wrote primarily in the 1920s to about the mid 60s. He's most famous for writing hundreds and hundreds of short stories, most of which appeared in the New Yorker at some time, as well as these fantastically long novels. And if you like one of his books, you're in luck, because you'll like all of them, because he went through no actual formal change over 45 or 50 years of writing. And he was a master of dialogue. And I've bumped into a lot of people like, oh, you like him too. I know. It's just, he wouldn't even put things in between the dialogue. The characters would just talk back and forth for pages. And I think there's just something to the cadence of natural speech as opposed to formalized speech. I just love that. And I suppose, again, Reddit, the online world, is just the most recent inflection of that sort of the cadence of the way that we really talk, the way we speak. Yeah.
I always think of another great person for that was Elmore Leonard, the way he would write dialogue. Yeah. And somebody asked him once why his books were so successful. And he said, I leave out the parts that people don't want to read.
Oh, he was good. Yeah.
All right. I think we're going to move on now to our reader / tribute. Where is our volunteer? All right.
Oh boy.
Here we go then. I will pass you the book.
Okay.
To choose a story. Come on down.
I get to choose the story?
You get to choose the story.
Oh wow.
Or okay. I don't know if our volunteer has had a chance to read the book and choose it. No, he has not.
Well, this is a cold read?
This is a cold read.
Okay. No. Is the mic working?
You can introduce yourself here.
Yeah, tell us who you are.
Yes.
And
my name is Jai Jawat, and I was the chauffeur for William Burroughs when he was there.
Oh, really?
Small world.
Did he hit on you?
What's that?
Did he hit on you?
No, but I was 18, so maybe
that's even
they probably need more, right? Yeah. I was working at the Western Front.
Oh, that is a small.
It's like, okay, Vancouver, it's a small city.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, well, hang on. Well, okay. Are you trained as an actor or anything?
No.
Okay. Thank you for volunteering. And
Thank you.
Let's see. I'll find there's no story that's shorter than another story. So I'll find one that's...
Have you ever read a story in public?
I did do a play at the Fringe this year called Hi, My Name is Jai.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was my first.
So you're ready for this?
I feel like it, yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Like his entire
This
life,
has never been tried before,
his
apparently.
entire life trajectory has been leading
to
towards
this moment.
absolute
Exactly, yes.
Okay, let's see.
And if it works, maybe this will become your new pattern. Not that I'm suggesting you have to. I'm not saying you're holding this entire thing on your shoulders. I'm just saying,
Okay, I know the one. I know the one. Hang on.
okay. All right.
The story is called DUI, and it's told through the voice of, how old are you?
53.
Someone just your age. You're perfect for the role. And I'll say nothing more about it.
DUI. I drove to Patty's in a fog. 2 hours before, I'd plowed my FJ Cruiser into the side of a Windstar minivan driven by a soccer mom with 2 kids in car seats in the back. The kids were okay, but the soccer mom was in intensive care. Technically, it was 100% the soccer mom's fault. She blew through a blinking red light. The 2 drivers behind me had it on dash cam footage, but if I hadn't been drinking Patty's margaritas just beforehand, the whole thing might not have happened. Fortunately, I have enough power over my faculties that my possible impairment never entered the cops' minds. I went back to Patty's. She let me in. Jesus, Dave, you look like shit. What happened? I went to sit on the same couch where 2 hours previously we'd been karaokeing to 1990s rap and sipping pink lemonade and tequila. This van came out of nowhere. I mean, like a comet or something. I didn't have enough time to stop and, Jesus, the woman driving it was covered in blood like the end of Carrie. You know, the 2 kids in the car seats in the back seat were stunned and making no noise at all. Wait, where was this? What corner? Franklin and Covington. That intersection is a death trap. Sooner or later, something bad had to happen. Well, it happened to me. I was fidgeting badly, the shock unraveling me. Patty, get me a drink, okay? Patty is my brother's ex-wife. We always got along, and when she left Brent, I was on her side because Brent is a riptide who destroys everything that dares go near him. Patty thought she could change him. Seriously? People don't change. They decay. They adopt ridiculous beliefs to pretend they have control over a world that is utterly indifferent to them. But they don't change. Once I had a drink in my hand, I told Patty about an accident I saw when I was really young, in which an old-fashioned car, like from the 1970s, plowed into another 1970s car, and afterwards, both cars resembled balls of tinfoil covered in barbecue sauce. It really fucked me up. I think I had PTSD or something like it for years afterwards. But in today's crash, that woman wasn't wearing a seatbelt. How is that even possible these days? The kids in the car seats looked like nothing had ever happened to them at all. But all the doors and panels and the roof of the van vaporized into confetti like they never even existed. All these government safety regulations. My phone buzzed. It was Joelle from the local police department. I picked it up and she told me that the soccer mom had just died. Holy fucking Dave, calm down, Patty said. You're fine. You've been through a big trauma. Breathe in, out, in, out. Get me another drink, something strong. I don't know if that's the smart thing right now, Patty said. Please, just give me a drink, Patty. It might cloud your emotions. Cloud my emotions. Christ, I just want to be clubbed on the head and have all of this go away. Dave, you don't understand. I can't sit here and listen to you tell me that the crash might not have happened if you hadn't been drinking. It's my duty to let the authorities know the truth. My blood froze. The authorities? I think that's why you and I have always been friends, Dave. We can see the truth when others can't. I hadn't seen this coming. Patty, you'd mean you'd narc me out? Don't be so melodramatic. A woman was killed. Her children are motherless. She's dead and they're motherless because she drove into Covington Road without stopping at a blinking red light. That's why this happened. But you said it would not have happened if you hadn't been drinking. Patty, where is this coming from? The woman drove her car at right angles directly into a main traffic artery. They have footage from 2 dash cams to prove it. You were definitely over .08 and you know it. So fucking what? It wasn't my fault, or was it? Patty, why are you going down this path? This path is called my conscience, Dave, and I don't have any choice. I went over to the cupboard where she kept her hard liquor. I opened it and poured myself a coffee mug of Stoli, swirled it around and chugged it. You do that to me. I'd also have to tell them that you chugged 6 ounces of Stoli right there. I have no idea who you are, Patty. You're about to ruin my life, my job, my benefits, my ability to travel out of the country on business, my ability to do just about anything. Once you have a DUI on your record, your life is burnt. I'd like to think you saw me as someone who had morals and valued truth. Seriously. Yes, seriously. So drink a few glasses of water, gather your wits, and let's go down to the cop shop together. Okay. You're right. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. The shock is what came over you. Yes, you really are right. I walked over as if to give her a big hug, then grabbed her head and wrenched it around almost 360 degrees, killing her on the spot. How dare she be so preachy? I dragged her into the garage and lifted her body up onto the cargo carrier on the car's roof. She'd be safe there for at least a short while until I figured out a next step. Afghanistan does this to you.
Yeah.
After that, I got to ask you, are you working on anything new? Or wow, what projects do you have in the works? Nothing yet. Okay, well, go for it. I think you got something. Wow.
Whew.
Okay. Okay.
That was good. We were discussing it earlier. We were saying, like, what if the person comes up and starts to read kind of like,
Oh, no.
I said, well, then we'll all shame them. So
it's true. Like I should do another book called Shaming. That's also been one of the big things in the last 5 years, isn't it? Shaming, binging. What are the other ings?
Exiting.
Canceling.
Oh, canceling is a big one. Yeah. What do you think about that? That's a big one.
I kind of wonder if we're coming towards the end of it, or if something bigger is going to replace it, maybe.
There was a Netflix walkout the other day because of Dave Chappelle's
I was
comedy.
watching the coverage of that. Yeah. I mean, all these power inversions that have happened lately, like, for example, for the first time since the creation of unions, like, workers have more power than employers right now. And, how that gets used constructively in a good way that's one of the options we have. If we get it right, something really good can come from that. I'm thinking other ings.
Anyone have any ings?
More ings, anyone?
Ghosting.
Ghosting. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I'll feel like we're writing an index for the next list of stories here, actually.
Unfriending.
It's like,
unfollowing.
I accidentally unfollowed. Well, someone was showing me, because I'm on Instagram, but I don't really know that much about it, to be honest. And it's like, if you want to unfollow Like, how do you do it? And like, they took this one random account and like, oh, that's easy. Okay. And then I found out through a friend 2 weeks later that they're really upset that you unfollowed them.
Oh, yeah.
And like, whoa, okay. So some people really take that stuff seriously.
They do. I'm always impressed that there's somebody whose job it is, who works for a gossip column, to see who's following who and who isn't, and when they stop following, because that will be I don't know what everyone else reads here, but a news story that so-and-so unfollowed so-and-so.
Are you on social media?
I look at it. I'm not anymore. I had to leave Twitter.
Okay. What was that like?
Like a phantom limb. It's been a rough experience, but I just realized that I was either saying something serious and people getting really angry at me. One time, just for fun, Norm Macdonald, R.I.P., was tweeting about golf, and I just thought, because I'm me, are you concerned about the environmental impact of golfing? Well, I'll tell you who isn't concerned about that. Everyone who follows him. And it was a lousy day for me on social media.
Did you have to, that's the wrong word. Did you just ride with it or did you?
For a little while, and then I deleted it, and then things stopped, but it got really personal. People were looking up my name and what I do, and it was really awful.
It's strange. And if there's any possible other reading on what you said, they will take that other reading and they'll just distort it and blow it up. And it's just trollery, really.
Then I got into a fight with a comedian. So I managed to do a lot of damage on Twitter, and it was a good thing for me to get off, because I just fight with my friends now like a normal person, you know?
Okay. Okay.
I don't need to fight with strangers, but we should open this up now to see if anyone else has any questions. Are there any questions out there? Any arms up? Let me see, I'm looking. Okay, I see a person right up there with long hair. Oh, wait, we're there we go. Come down and use the microphone right here.
Your eyesight's much better than mine. I can't see who you're
I can see someone with blonde hair. Yeah, are you blonde? Ish. Okay, well, come on down and ask anyone who wants to come and ask a question can just line up there. I guess you should probably space out along the stairs.
Oh, I could never do that.
What? Space out on the stairs?
You know, to stand up in front of a microphone and ask a Q&A question? Oh, no, that goes against everything I was raised to believe in. Oh.
Okay, wow. Well, thank you all for being so brave.
I was raised the CBC is the devil's paintbrush.
Really? Oh. So, as a fan of metal music, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
No, it's like I keep CBC on in the background like almost like 18 hours a day, and my mom comes over like, what's that? And she's serious. So
wow.
I overcame my upbringing.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, now here I have someone brave here. Hello.
Hi. I don't know if you can hear me through my mask. I think
you should probably just
pull it down.
Yeah.
Your question, Lisa, earlier about the characters and where you get material. I'm curious what your thoughts are. I'm assuming that you read all about it. Stealing real life stories and the Bad Art Friend. Are you familiar with Bad Art Friend?
That was in the New York Times.
Yeah.
And it was this one. Do you want to synopsize it for everyone?
Sure. Okay, I'll do my. So basically, two frenemies were connected and part of sort of some loose writers group, and one had donated a kidney to someone she didn't know and was very proud about that, talking about it a lot. And then it turned out that the other friend used that as the basis for a story. And so it then imploded, where the person who donated the kidney was very upset with her. And then there was all this sort of, gossiping behind the scenes with the other. But it's just interesting about the, using real life stories and sort of, I'm just curious. I read about it recently, what your thoughts are as a writer on that.
Like, does your doctor want credit for the pubic hair story?
Malcolm Gladwell did an essay on something very, very, very similar to this about 5 years ago. There's this phenomena. It was based on something that happened to him, where he had written an article on a subject, and then years later, it turns out this woman had done a play, I think, that was basically entirely based on his article. And so when he called her on it, she's like, oh shit, I think you might be right. And but he acknowledged that there's this phenomenon where a lot of people really don't even realize that they're sort of cribbing from real life when they do things. Whereas I think in this case, it was these two women who were, I think, friends, and they turned into frenemies. She had donated a kidney, and that became her identity. Like, I donated a kidney, and like, yay, like me. And meanwhile, this other woman had written a story, or was it a book, I think, about someone who
did a short story.
A short story
yeah.
about someone who donated a kidney. And then this woman who really did donate, it's like, wait a second, you kind of like ripped off my life. And the other, like, no, not really. I mean, you can always write a story about people who donated a kidney. She stole her thunder, basically. And then, I mean, that's just awkward for everyone involved, I think. I mean, in the end, it depends, was the story a good story? You know, maybe, will that story be read in 50 years? Maybe, maybe not. But again, it takes about 6 to 8 times to squish it all into one person. That seems to be like a mathematical constant. I just realized something, what we're doing here tonight, in terms of the influence of all these, that we're within ourselves, we're crowdsourcing, we're like downloading a file from the heavens, we're bringing in guest voices, we're having Q&A, and it's actually kind of a wonderful experience. And maybe this is the future of group activities. Anyhow, well, lovely question. and there's like someone there in black on black on black lurking.
Red and green, but sure.
There we go.
No COVID-19 here. Okay.
Super excited I get to say hi to you. I'm a huge fan. You're one of the few authors that literally makes me laugh out loud, so thank you for that. Worst person ever, one of the funniest books I've ever read, so thank you. Recently was going through some of your books, getting ready for this, and I was rereading Bit Rot, which I think is a fantastic book. And there's a particular chapter where you talk about when you recognize there was a moment in your life where you realized you were living in the future, where just unmistakably you felt, and I think it was 2019, but you felt, I am living in the future. And I just wanted to know, is there a particular moment, maybe in the last 6 months, where you thought, wow, we are really living in the future right now, and what that moment was, and maybe why it made you feel that way?
Oh, thank you. Good question. To go back in time on that, born in 61, and the future for myself was always like 2000. How could it not be like the year 2000? And then 2000 came closer and closer, and suddenly you were in it, and it still didn't feel quite futuristic. And then came this century, and then I suppose it was smartphones introduced in 2002. And this whole, the actual future no longer felt out there. It felt like it was getting closer and closer and closer. Endless waves of technology sort of morphing our brains all along the way. And then I think it was probably the Trump election where it's like, oh my God, the future and the present have actually melted together like cheese on a hamburger. And like we're now simultaneously inhabiting the future and the present at the same time. So I think in a very broad sense, I think it was the election. And I'll go back again to Wired back in the early 90s. The internet, like information wants to be free and like no evil. And like, well, wait, and people are that's not human beings. So again, I'm surprised it took as long as it took to happen. I did this article for The Guardian on Elon Musk, who is sort of a divisive figure in our culture. I mean, you either love him or you hate him. There seems to be, like anything these days, there's no middle ground. Like, There's no one in the middle going, well, what if, okay, listen, both sides of the argument. No, that's like over. At the end of it, I mean, you know, he's always just out for publicity, when in fact, he's actually really terrible at publicity. Like he did the truck launch, which backfired. It was embarrassing. And the Tesla and space thing was just cringy. But there is something about him that makes someone like Richard Branson say he just looked like 1,000 years old. And that the thing about Elon Musk that's sort of alluring is that he's still in an age where we're sitting here trying to figure out what a future can possibly be. He still sees the future in a sort of almost dramatic 20th century sort of way. And I think that there's almost sort of like something sentimental that comes with that. Like, oh, there's someone else who's like the future, whatever that could be. And so that seems to be one of the polarizing factor in our culture right now, along with left or right, or all these other binaries that we exist with. I didn't expect the future to be quite so futuristic, to be honest. It surprises me every day, and I actually kind of love it. But I think, okay, here, I used to live down the corner of Powell and Columbia, and that's that block of Gastown where every day they're filming something. Like, and you look out the window and it was like it's all Mustangs and Barracudas. Oh, it's something in the 60s. Oh, it's all 90s cars. It's something set in then. And sometimes you'd open the window and there would be like trash and like fake tumbleweeds and like, oh, it's a movie that's set in the future. And I think that the reason the future always looks so dystopic in movies is that it's really inexpensive to paint, do an art direction. You just throw trash around and it's the future. So I always love those movies, like 2001 or Minority Report. I was part of that, where they really work hard to nail, what the future looks like. I am optimistic about the future. I am an optimist. Can I think we're running out of time, but there's this one story.
No, we have exactly 5 minutes.
Okay, so March 11th, the day before in Copenhagen, before coming back to Canada and everything, and all the walls came down, at a dinner, and there was a large number of people there, a good cross section of society, and it's Denmark. Everyone speaks flawless English, and I remember I was saying, growing up, there was this thing called acid rain. And I think younger people don't even know what it is, but it was this thing that began in the 80s and 90s, where industrial pollutants were combining with moisture to form highly acidic drops that were killing all of the forests in Europe, like the Black Forest. And there was this one radio, I think it was CBC, in Rome, and they held a microphone up to the Colosseum, and you could actually hear the stones sizzling in the rain. It was so acidic. And so I lost so much sleep over acid rain. And then I realized that I haven't heard about acid rain in decades. And why not? Is because they fixed it. And then there was this other thing called the ozone hole, which, I think everyone here is probably old enough to remember all the scare stories there, and haven't heard that in decades. It was fixed. And so I said, that actually makes me feel kind of good that we can probably fix global warming. Well, everyone at the table, how dare you? People like you disgust me. You make me sick. What's going on here? It's like the moment we think we can fix global warming is the moment we'll be unable to fix it. And it was this new kind of ecological algebra where the only way to have hope is to have no hope whatsoever. And well, hang on. Like, well, that's no way to live. I mean, you're never going to sleep properly. You'll probably be impaired in the actual efforts to fix what is that needs fixing. But no, I was just getting like no, like love in that room. And I think that, you know, I was in Toronto for SARS, both waves in 2003. And, you know, that was a plague. That was like, it killed 1 in 6, not 1 in 400. And it was actually not that bad in downtown Toronto because there was no internet really for people to scare each other half to death. And a lot of what we feel is just, it's there because there has to be a headline, and you know, if it bleeds, it leads. Had there not been 9/11, the headline on the front of the New York Times on September 12th would have been, "Shark attacks continue off the Florida coast." And so there always has to be a headline. And these days we just sort of become addicted to headlines. And I am an optimist, and it's like optimists are the last people in our culture that you can shit on with absolutely no like repercussions whatsoever. But I do think this is all fixable, and that a lot of it is just really like, you know, the rabbit holes we fall into, this binging, this canceling, this everything, like woof, just pull out of it and like go for a walk or something. And because it's all fixable, we seem to have always fixed it. And I think that means it will be fixed anyhow. I'm an optimist. That's I feel like I have to say that with the tone of defiance. But
when I was a kid, I worried about quicksand and scurvy, and neither of them have got me yet.
Oh,
so
you know what? I live in fear of bumping into Greta Thunberg. Oh. And she's like, "I hear you are an optimist." Like, oh God. Okay. Thank you for your question. Sure. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Lisa, for being here tonight.
No, thank you.
It's like I listen to your voice. You're part of my life.
Oh.
Even if you're the devil's paintbrush.
I'm so honored. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Thank you.
You have been listening to Books and Ideas Audio, a presentation of the Vancouver Writers Fest. To hear more events like this one and view our upcoming events, visit our website at writersfest.bc.ca.